Good morning and welcome to AI Daily. I'm your host, Connor, joined by my co host, Ethan Farb. We have three pretty exciting stories for you today. Jumping in first, we have Mojo, a new programming language for AI developers, created by Chris Latner, who also created LLVM and Swift. This is an evolution on Python, which is completely backwards compatible. The main thing is that Python's a great language for prototyping and for development, which is why we've seen so much rapid AI iteration out of it, but it has a lot of problems with deployment and really going to market with Python. Mojo here is designed to fix Python's shortcomings. Ethan, what do you know about it?
Yeah, so this is from the team at Modular. So Chris and the team at Modular, they work on high performance inference, pretty much. So inference, if you don't know, is when you query or you run a trained ML model for output. And pretty much what they've been seeing, and anyone who's really deep into the weeds of performance on ML models knows that you're having to use C++ or Rust to really work low level and get these performance gains. But Python is extremely beneficial for all the libraries and fast prototyping, etc. So they put together Mojo to try to combine the best of both worlds, the ease of use of Python and the low level performance of something like C++. So it's from the team who has done LLVM, which is a compiler, who's done Swift. This is backwards compatible with Python, just as Connor mentioned. There's no garbage collection in it, which is very interesting. And I think Connor and I have talked a lot about the importance of verbosity and typed languages for ML, and even languages that GPT-4 and beyond can generate for itself and be able to create its own new code. So better languages are likely going to be needed. I think this one is not production ready yet. I know they have a demo environment. I think it's not even open source yet. They're planning to make it open source soon, but anyone working to combine the best of both worlds on this side, create a better language for developers to use, is exciting in my book.
Yeah, the garbage collection thing. This is a lot like how Rust is doing in C++. This is makes it more of a systems programming language. So the important part for our audience to know here is that performance here, a performant, basically essentially a performant Python, is a big jump in AI inference, etc. So
Yeah.
what specifically could you do with this?
Um, at this point, like I said, there's a demo environment. You can start messing around with it. It's not production ready yet, but keep your eye on it because you might see more developers putting packages out for it. It might be something to use if you're trying to develop highly performant inference models, or possibly people will use it for things outside of ML. Any new language always catches on in some form or fashion, and we'll see if it stays alive.
Exactly. So this is definitely more of a ready tomorrow type thing. Next up, we have our story of Chegg and what happened to their stock. Farb, do you want to go into that?
Sure. Yeah. Just on the previous story, it's interesting to see that how many decades in C is still a high performance language, and the way you need to get on the metal of what you're using, whether it's Swift or Python. We're still living in a world where humans are writing software. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
I don't think the AIs will need easy to use languages like Python to run on the processor. So this one's interesting. I want to keep an eye on this because I'm not sure if solutions like this will be needed in a few years, when you don't need to sort of come up with solutions that are fast and easy for devs. I mean, you'll probably get there. One of the things that people forget is that when everything becomes easier, you just tend to do more things. So it's not like devs are going to likely disappear, but they're going to be able to do more. So will they be writing in Python and Mojo in a few years? We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, we talked about this with Ethan. It's more of it's going to be a more language that's more terse. It's going to fit the language models better because, of course, token limitations and context is the main issue there. So
Long live C. Uh, Chegg news, pretty important news, I think. Chegg is a public company. It's an education company. I think their CEO came out and said something along the lines of AI is affecting our business, and boom, their stock tanked. Yesterday we talked about IBM announcing a whole bunch of news around not hiring folks. So we see public companies are already being impacted pretty deeply by the changes in AI, firing potentially thousands of people, not hiring potentially thousands of people, stock prices tanking. If you thought AI and ML was going to affect the world, you're correct. And if you didn't, you're already wrong. So we'll see how much further their stock price drops if it does. You think he could have came out with news around how they're going to be taking advantage of AI to continue to spur the business on. It was an interesting piece of news from the CEO. I was kind of confused as to why they came out that way.
Yeah.
Ethan, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, no, Farb is directly on point. It felt almost like a fumble. You would think someone would come out, especially in Chegg's position, saying, hey, we're going to start integrating these tools, make it easier for our students and learners to utilize them. But they took the opposite approach. Funny enough, I have a few friends working in this kind of homework answering space, working in these products for students. And at the end of the day, when the market cares about ChatGPT and AI a lot, and you're a company who is not at the forefront using it, and they know others are targeting your space, we're probably going this won't be the last of someone's stock dropping 47% after a PR release.
So what specifically could you do with this? It sounds like it's kind of a mark of vulnerability for
The
Chegg.
money out of Chegg.
Yeah, back Chegg really is the what you could do with this. Ready today, tomorrow? I think it's kind of Chegg looks ready to have their stock drop today. So
Yeah, unfortunately for them, this is happening now.
yeah. Okay, well, on to our third story. We have Mosaic ML. They recently announced that they trained Stable Diffusion for only $50,000. Originally, it was trained for $600,000. That's a 12x reduction. It's a pretty interesting story. Ethan, thoughts here?
Yeah, they released the entire technical details, which we'll put into the show notes. But at the end of the day, they were able to train a Stable Diffusion 2.0 level model for under 50,000. So we're looking at cheaper, faster training. And if you want something that's a custom model and you're a startup or a smaller business, these things are beginning to be more available to you now. Of course, you need to put together training data, etc. But when the cost of training is quickly plummeting on some of these important models, just means more access for everyone, more new use cases, better products, better experiences, more companies in the fold. So it's cool.
Yeah,
You
Mosaic
have to
ML.
imagine that these guys are, you have to imagine that OpenAI and everybody else wants to reduce prices dramatically as well.
Yeah.
Is that enough of an angle for these folks to, compete directly and be a big player? We'll see, but it is definitely the angle they're taking. They want to let people do this privately. That was another, sort of important angle that they have, and far more cheaply and more affordably than it's been available so far. So it's kind of an arms race, right? OpenAI wants this to be cheaper for you. They're going to want it to be private for you. Everybody's going to want these things, but it is cool. They are rather ambitious with what they're doing, and it's great to see.
Yeah, their big innovations have been data streaming and how they train the models with the vast amounts of data that they need. They did announce that apparently they have some new LLM training that they're going to announce there this week. So we may cover that if it's interesting enough. But very interesting, Mosaic ML decreasing model costs by a lot. So
Fantastic
indeed. Well, is this ready tomorrow, today, down the road, Farb?
It's all on GitHub, so I believe you can, if you want to take a stab at making your own training data and doing a training run for under 50 grand, go at it.
Okay. Well, 3 great stories we had today. We had Mojo out of the modular team. We had Chegg stock have a pretty big hit based off the CEO announcing trouble with AI. And then we have Mosaic ML, of course, as we just talked about. So what we're seeing / using, Farb, what have you been seeing?
There was some big news around Pi, this new AI that folks are trying out. I tried it out. I know Ethan's a little bit more maybe bullish on it, but it seemed pretty basic. It was interesting. I read an interview with the CEO about how the current version is supposed to just be something you chat with. He talked about all the things that it doesn't do and how it might do things someday. It was a bit of an odd release, if you asked me. I don't know, Ethan. Maybe your views on it are different.
I mean, they had a beautiful UI attached. They had
That is
some
nice.
voices attached to it.
Yeah.
It is multi-platform. They've raised a lot of money, and I think people are putting a lot of pressure on them because of that. But the product itself, I used it. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure what else you want to expect.
Does it get you excited though? I mean,
It did. It did. It really did. You get to see something. You can text it. You can use it on their site. They had voices. It was just a very clean experience. And
okay, you like the user
yeah,
experience angle that they took on it.
and
Why
the
do you think their
responses were good.
CEO came out and was, so forward about all the things it doesn't do? I guess why is that an angle that you think he decided to take?
It's a good question. I think possibly to continue the hype buildup of what they want to do or plan to do, or also to kind of minimize the impact of people really attacking them. Once again, they raised a lot of money, so people have extremely high expectations for what they're going to drop. But as a MVP and a first product, even the outputs I enjoyed. I thought it was a good product.
Didn't mean to steal your story there.
Yeah, it's okay. I was also seeing, I continue to see more and more music AI on my TikTok feed, like Ariana Grande singing Diamonds or Rihanna singing X, and they're getting really, really good. They've completely filled up my TikTok feed. I don't know if y'all seen them, but it's been fun.
Have you seen anything from the Grimes stuff? Has anybody
I
made
don't
any
think so
Grimes
yet.
music yet?
I heard through the grapevine someone's trying, but not yet.
I think we talked about this on an unaired episode, but Grimes is offering to split the royalties of any AI generated music that people create, of her, which is super cool news. It's a whole new business model for music, and bringing fan fiction, if you will, into the spotlight, which I think is actually going to happen everywhere. Whether it's books, which fan fiction has been, pretty big for a long time. But now music, I think movies and TV shows, I think we're going to see, social media in some ways may pale in comparison to the, scale that fan fiction is going to get to in entertainment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, per Grimes, we did see someone's doing a $10,000 hackathon. That's what we talked about in that episode.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Grimes was like, "Wow, well, good luck to whoever wins this." So
Best of luck to you. That's
best
great.
of luck to whoever makes a good song that I get to
Best
have.
of luck to her, I think, is probably her angle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. From what I've seen, I saw someone made segment anything Nerf. They combine Nerfs that have been pretty crazy for the past year or so, and then recently have been in a lot of press with segment anything, something else we covered on an unaired episode, so that when you move around in 3D space, the segmented parts of the image remain. And we'll link the demo. The demo shows really how interesting it is, but both those tech really work very well together. So
Fantastic.
I think that covers what all we've been seeing. Well, thank you guys. Thanks
Thank
everyone.
you.
See everyone tomorrow. Peace.
Thank you.